Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dad Life Chess channel. I saw that Joel recorded a video yesterday, so I figured I better get back in it. Playing today a rapid game on chess.com, and I'm playing, looks like Tyler C Chess. Alright, I also noticed I'm within 1 point of my highest rating for rapid on chess.com. Highest rating is 1871. So, with a win here, my opponent apparently wants to play quickly. So, I haven't played this a lot. But I know that I think he can play here. He needs to clear this diagonal. Because if he doesn't clear this diagonal and I'm able to get one more move, yeah, makes sense. So here takes, and some of the attack fizzles because his queen covers g5. Let's take here. And let's castle. If he takes, I will take back. I don't know that I'm too concerned about this. So his bishop would be on a2. Could trap it, probably. But at what cost is the question. I also have this, and then push. Let me think here for a second. I can play e4 to kind of stop up his progress. Also freeze my bishop to get out, which is what I want to do kind of anyway. No, I can't do, sorry. Can't do e4 because of course his knight is on it. Maybe c4. b5. All right, I want to go this route. My opponent wants to play very quickly, which could be an issue. So what he probably wants is here, I can't play b3 in that situation because he has mate on a1. But he didn't play that, so let's do this. No fear, huh? Check. Check. Wow. Check. King f7. Check. He could block. My guess is based on how he's playing. He's going to go here. I can take on b7. There's no way that works. Right? No way. Yeah, I think he has to block. Oh, wow. I'm on two pieces here. Can he defend them both? I don't think so. I mean, he can play here, threatening, b2 with his queen, but this comes with check. Bishop d7, check. Brings the bishop back, and then I can play c3. Kind of cover all my weak pawns. Yeah, so let's look at this. Rook b8 takes with check. I really wonder. Oh, of course, he can do this. All right, so rook takes. He has a check. That would be a problem. I don't know that I'm really concerned about. Not right now for sure, because it's guarding his rook. So I think I should just take a move. I'm going to guard against this check. I want to let him take here. If he wants to take f2. Yeah, so I wasn't too worried. I probably should have calculated this more, but he's not actually threatening any of these pieces. So I was planning just to play this. I probably should have calculated this more. So here takes. He doesn't have time. Let's do it. He's got a check. Check. We can slide over. This is really interesting. I think I should have been a little more careful at a couple of points here in calculating the moves. The problem is I'm down on time as well, a couple minutes, so I wasn't eager. So what does he have? Here? All right, so we're threatening some stuff here, but nothing yet. I think this doesn't work yet. Takes. Can't take with the bishop, or he loses the rook. So he has to take with the rook. Check. Doesn't work. Yeah, let's develop my other pieces here. I'm realizing he has this. This is getting a little dicey. Am I missing something? That is the question. That is the question. I think he probably just forgot that his D pawn was hanging. Because that looks pretty bad. Threatening mate. Remarkably, I don't see anything. Takes. Oh, I should have looked at that more carefully. Takes. I think he takes with the rook. But he could take with the king. And I'm not sure. Then maybe king retreats to c8 and defends that rook. Huh. Wow. Gotta play faster too. I'm also down on time. This is a very interesting game. Okay, so I assume he wants to move his rook. Problem is if he does that, this other rook comes in. Looking at sacrifices here. My knight does a good job at keeping his queen out of squares that would threaten mates on d1 or mates on, c2. Opponent's finally slowing down, so he's not up on 2 minutes anymore, which is good. All right, so he goes that route. Let me just think for a second here. Check. Has to go here. Check, he can take. we start with d1, check. Let's start with that move. So we have check here. Check takes check. I feel like there's something here. "37 seconds is not enough time to figure it out, though. That's the problem. He's not going to take there. So, yeah, I thought he might do this. But I think now you have checkmate. Wow, that was a tight game. Obviously had some time trouble toward the end, 28 seconds left, but a really interesting one. Before I look at evaluation or lines, let's turn those off for a second and just walk through this. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to look at this. I think I'm supposed to play e4 before I play h4. I think. So I'll look at, in the opening, just a small question there, I think, about that. The basic idea here, though, I mean, I've seen before. I think actually you could even take, but typically that's after you've castled, because if you take after you castle, he can't take back because he loses a piece on d8. Because I hadn't castled yet, I just pushed. So this is definitely not anything that I know from theory. So we can look at this in the opening and see where I went wrong, because I'm sure I did at some point. And I'll look here and see if my opponent missed something. I don't think he can take here. I'm sorry, I think he can take here. In this case, for sure, because I can't even block his bishop in because it's mate on a1. So I think he probably should have taken my pawn here. And then I think this is a blunder, taking back here. I think he had to take with the queen just to stop these checks, because I think these are all very... And then credit to my opponent. I don't know why I missed this in the game. I was looking at a few different moves, but I didn't even notice this option here, which obviously defends everything. Gave a couple pawns back for what I thought was some pressure, and maybe even here. No, I can't get. I have to solve my back rank issues. I was wondering if I could take earlier, but it wouldn't work here. I had to get my knight out. Here, I think, again, you just missed the fact that d6 was hanging. I don't think that was intentional. I don't think he would have played that. But I would not be surprised if at this point my opponent, this game is relatively equal at this point. It doesn't seem like it should be, but I think it probably is. Sorry. And then here, this knight is really annoying. Like, in terms of a checkmate, I would love to just play, but I feel like that gives my opponent it gives me a key tempo to get organized, get his rooks on the same file, threaten this bishop that's kind of precariously hanging out here. So I think I didn't have time for that. I really wanted to. I wanted to kick this knight so that I could have more mating chances. But his knight does a really good job covering a couple squares that would be important for any kind of an attack. I was looking at this. I think I thought he would go here. Sorry, no. Here. But I'm looking at it now. Maybe it's not possible. Actually, I think it is. I think he should have gone. He needs to guard this pawn. So I think if he goes to b8, check, and then hides on a8. I mean, I can check. He can take with his knight, check. But I think he can get out there, or even bring his rook over maybe. I'll be really curious to see what the evaluation is here at this point. But this is obviously mate. I don't think there was even any other option here. Let me look. Once he gives up this pawn, yeah, his only move, it's mate in 2 at that point. So, all right, well, let's take a look at the game review. This will be a fun one. All right, we do have a mistake, and inaccuracy, so we'll have some stuff to learn here. Let me look at the analysis first. Okay. Oh, wow. I was not expecting that to be my first mistake. So what's the best moves here? Yeah, already. I need to look at these lines again. This is like this Jobava London. I know from looking at this before, I know that you're supposed to play e4 in situations that I don't normally play it. I'm not in the habit of playing it. So it looks like here already e4 or even knight f3. Knight f3 I don't usually play. I usually preserve the option of being able to play f3, e4 later, especially if this bishop tries to come out. So I don't think knight f3 would have been on my list. And then e3, yeah, this is, again, also not in the style of what I was trying to do. But e4 makes a lot of sense, and I think I probably missed that there. I wonder if they want, yeah, they still want me to play it, even there in that last move. And then here, I'm sure as well. No, actually here we're fine. So here playing h4 is an option. Actually, castles first, bishop takes are both better. I think I've had some bullet games like this. I think the idea is takes here. And it's just annoying. I mean, I think you can get back and cover everything, but actually the engine is saying you can't really. Knight f4, is that okay? Yeah, knight f4 is okay. e5. I've had this before. I know I've had this before in a blitz game. So that's probably why here, instead of playing h4, they're wanting to exchange those bishops just to kind of resolve that tension or castle. So, but in general, we're, get out of the opening here. We're still roughly equal. They don't like castles queenside. What do they want instead? D takes, or e takes d, or h5. Still roughly equal, but it looks like I missed an opportunity there. And now we start to get it back. We have pawn advantage. I did notice there was a pawn here, but I just didn't want to mess with getting back. And yeah, I'm glad to see that that's not one of the top moves. I just didn't want to deal with, the rook coming here and trying to find a safe square for my queen. So that is the best move, h5. Takes. Yeah, I think queen takes g6 was... Oh, it's just not good actually for black. h5. I don't even know what h5 accomplishes there. Or king h8. That's brutal. Not a fun situation where your best moves... Can you imagine your second best move being king h8 in this situation? Yikes. And h5 being your best move. Yeah, you're just never going to see that. I thought queen takes made sense. At least you prevent the check here. You know, it's ugly pawns, but this is definitely not the way to play. And all of this is fine. Rook c8, the move I missed in the game, even though it's super obvious. And okay, so this is not... knight f3 I played later. I guess just protecting this pawn makes a lot of sense. I just gave the pawn up. Knight f3. Yeah, I saw both of these moves as options here. They're suggesting knight f3 roughly the same as bishop b5. Or even bishop a6. Interesting. Okay, good. So this is pretty much all looking good. I didn't know I had this much of an advantage. Right now it's 11 plus 11 for white. I did not know that in the game. I thought it's messy enough and there were some pawns. It's this pawn, for example, which was weak that I thought would be hard, but it looks like there's just too much of an attack. Yeah, he gave up the other pawn, which I think was an issue. Looks like there was some tactics here. So queen a6, which I played in the game, is still +5 for white. I mean, there's a significant advantage, but I lose the +15 advantage that I have. So the move here is rook takes d7. You remember in the video, I just briefly mentioned this. I just didn't have time to calculate it. I think what I mentioned was that queen would be able to take. It looks like that's not an option. And let me look at why. Oh, I did not even see that file was open. And I was worried about back rank issues. So this was not on my radar as being an option. Also, it's interesting, this knight does cover 2 squares where the queen can check on the back rank. So it would have to be 2 moves. Takes here, sack the rook first, and then you'd have some threats. So yeah, I didn't remember this file was open, but this obviously just wins the rook. So that means he has to take with the rook. And if I would have noticed that in the game, I think I would have played this, because obviously you're winning the piece here now. Okay. Well, I definitely missed something there. Instead of that, I played back. Still an advantage for white, but I definitely missed my opportunity here. Okay, here again, queen a4. The move I played in the game, just a move earlier, just because this is still pinned. Probably the idea is just to gang up on that piece. Let me take a look at this line really quick. King e7, yeah, I already wanting to... But that's... Oh, I can't do this. Can I? I can't. Takes. And I guess he has enough compensation here where it evens the game up quite a bit, at least. I'm only +1 here. So when he goes to e7, they're saying already take. Bishop takes. Yeah, that's not fun. Okay, well, the move obviously makes a lot of sense. I didn't want to deal with my rook being out there without protection, so I did take. Let's see if we got this sequence right. There's my miss. All right, so Major blunder, basically loses all the advantage. The best move here was A3. So I think I mentioned this. Yeah, I mentioned this when I was reviewing. I really wanted to get rid of this knight. I felt like that's where most of my threats were going to come, was getting into some of these squares that are now being guarded. So apparently this was my opportunity. Really the only move that maintains the advantage at all. And I missed it, being able to do this. I think I was worried that it would give my opponent a chance. Like, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. I guess he can't really threaten anything. Let me just, because this knight for him is just super annoying. Because you'd want to start to threaten maybe some checks. I guess you could play. Here, let's play through this line. A3. Oh, didn't even notice this in the game. That knight is trapped. That's why A3 is so strong. It's not removing it because of the threats of checkmate. It's that this knight has nowhere to go. Here, here. There's nowhere to go without losing it. So the best move here is King B8. And you take on B4. And there's just nothing else there. Wow, I didn't even think about the knight being trapped. Yeah, this basically just loses my advantage entirely. He misplays this, though, as I mentioned in the game, mate and 2 at this point. So let's see what he should have done instead. I mentioned B8. Yeah. So B8, and then, yep, B5. I mentioned this. I thought he could go to the corner. Actually, it looks like, yeah, that's the best move. And then, yeah, interesting. So now, even now, this A3 move. Still looking at this, I would have thought this would have been the move, but it looks like it's Queen C4. Wow, I don't think I'm finding these moves. It's almost like the engine is just forgetting about mating attacks and all of a sudden playing very selfishly with material. This knight could even get out now, I guess, if it wanted to, right? That's not the best move, though. It's E2, going after the rook. Knight takes, rook takes, knight takes. Knight can't take because it's mate. King B7. Interesting. That's a fun line. I would never find that, and especially not with a minute and a half left on my clock. Instead, my opponent helped me out a bit and fell into mate and 2. But that was a very interesting game. I'll definitely review at the beginning my opening lines here. I need to be clear on my opening lines for this kind of Jobava London approach. And then that might be later on in the game. It looks like a really key point would have been here. Here. Just noticing that this pin is not going away, and no, not here. After next move, here. Just noticing that this pin is here and playing that move without sacrificing my rook. There's no reason to do that yet. This piece is still pinned. I should have caught that in the game for sure, and then I definitely should have caught that this knight is trapped. It just wasn't even on my radar at all. I mean, it could give itself up for a pawn or something, but this that move was something I missed as well. So some things to learn for sure, but an interesting game. And yeah, now in addition to winning the game, which was a fun one, also had a new high score for chess.com Rapid. What do we get to today? 1878. So climbing our way to the 1900s, and we'll see if we can get there in the next few games. Thanks for watching.